is this?
Sorry.
You don't understand the question?
Oh, no, I didn't. Most people know where they are.
Why ain't most people?
You're in the glorious state of Arkansas, sweetheart.
How'd you know they was lying?
Well, this ain't Arkansas, so everyone is lying.
Your idea is incredible.
I can't argue with that. We pay for everything, so this country belongs to us.
It's just business. Hunting human beings for sport.
They're not human beings.
Every year, a bunch of elites kidnap normal folk like us. Where'd they get you from?
Wyoming, Mississippi.
Orlando.
And hunt us for sport. Hurry, hurry, hurry up!
So it's true.
We're being hunted.
Hey, what am I gonna wait?
What is happening?
Put him in the back with the rest.
Gonna take the freight train down at the station. I don't care where it goes.
Now they can't see us.
You just told them we're here.
What was that?
I think that was a rifle.
Everybody get out of here!
Jesus, come on. Who are these people? How are they getting away with this?
Can't you see
You have no idea what you're up against.
what the hell
They're playing you.
been doing?
They'll tear you to pieces.
We'll see.
Can't you see?
Of all the people you kidnapped,
Can't you see?
of all the people you killed,
What the hell?
you picked the wrong game.
Lady, you're crazy.
Okay. So why did I show you that trailer? Because this movie has been canceled! Canceled! For what, you may ask? Well, according to... The Hunt Variety.
Here's what I found on the web.
Okay, here we go. So, Director of the Hunt hopes... What day is this? I guess it's the end of September. I hope this is the same article. Well, basically what it talks about is the fact that the political climate as it is, or social climate, or environment. Okay, what that breaks down to is that we've had a lot of mass shootings as of late. Slightly a bit more than average, or slightly a bit more that we are more informed of what's going on in the world. You decide. But the one thing I do know, beyond anything else, that I need secondary lighting source. Excuse me. There, that helps. Is that they at Variety believe that this is not the best time for that, for a guns a-blazing violent film to come out. Okay, our lead characters have guns. Okay, alright. But what about Rambo, Last Blood? That has a whole shit ton of murdering and killing and maiming and blood and violence and gun shooting. So why isn't that film being shelved for a possible later date? Oh, by the way, they allude that it's being canceled now and possibly shown in the future. Not definitely, possibly shown in a later date. So why not Rambo? Why not John Wick? Why not any other violent action film that's been out in the past 10 years. We've had mass shootings before, and we've had action films sporting guns before. That's never stopped them. Why? Why on God's green earth is all that's happening now? What's the factor? There has to be a factor. But there isn't one. There isn't one, because it's just everything else. Okay, that's not true. There's one factor, but I'll get to that. Okay, so violence is not the answer, because our lead characters are shown brandishing guns in the movie and firing them off. That's not it. Then what else is there? Kidnapping. We've had kidnappings filmed before. We've had... Where is it? Here. I've written it down. Do this at work. We've had... Well, why not? Okay. And we also had bloody violent films, also including The Purge and The Hunger Games. You know, we've had violent stuff. We had stuff questioning authority. So them going up against government, you know, and government being questionable. Purge is a thought experiment, much like, what was it, like The Red Menace or whatever. It's interesting in theory, but in practice, you don't know, because no one really knows until you put it in practice. And when the Russians did, we found out people didn't really like it that way. They kind of want to be able to achieve equality. Okay, fine. You know, people don't mind wanting to accept more, but when you are asked to give more, oh, then it's just evil. If people expect me to give more, it's like, yeah, can't you just give a little more? No, and that's evil. No, it's not. You just expect the government's going to just take it all away from you. Whatever. But yeah, it's thought experiments, much like The Purge. It's a thought experiment. And they explain in universe that it doesn't really work. We've had, you know, Commando, like I said. Commando's a violent film. I grew up on that. That was fine. You know, whenever anybody actually had problems with the sex offenders, with the things, the Me Too movement not too long ago, we've had production problems. We've had editings, re-editings in various films. We've had production problems with firing and getting multiple directors on and off board. Losing different characters in Deadpool 2. It was supposed to be Gambit now. It was Cable. So if any production problems, reshoots, like in Star Wars and a bunch of other films, there was a bunch of reshoots because we wanted to get for that new tone, so anything was postponed because they had to do reshoots. George Lucas, of course, he was true to himself in the beginning, but now feels more like a sellout because he sold his production to his company and legacy to other people. That's just whatever. The only person still left in Hollywood actually has, you know, truth to self is Tarantino, because he keeps making Quentin Tarantino films. You know, he's still doing that. He's writing for himself, not for the corporation. Movie, you know, like, well, The Walking Dead and AMC. Vince Gilligan is not writing for the masses. He's writing for himself. You know, he's not making it family friendly. The Walking Dead is definitely not family friendly. And the guy says, I caught myself trying to write for the TV show instead of staying true and writing for the comics. Don't make it easier for them. You just write the story the way the story's supposed to be told. You know, so this true to self. And we've had tropes of women, well, not tropes, but we've had stories of women fighting back. It's all the rage now, yes. But the women that actually have been in a tight situation where the odds are stacked against them, you know, like the movie You're Next. That's actually pretty good. I like that. And then there's Ready Player One, which is a huge fucking sellout from its original story. I know you try to condense stuff, but you're just selling yourself out left and right and narrative shortcuts and everything. It's just ridiculous. And And that's pretty much it. So we've had production problems. We've had, you know, strong independent women who don't get on the soapbox. We've had, you know, angry violent films. We had angry violent films that make us think. And yet, all these are not the issue. We've had them before, and we've had mass shootings before. That's not the problem. The only thing I can possibly conceive is that this movie actually called out one percenters as the bad guy. In the Hunger Games and The Purge, it was an equivalent. That guy with the white beard and the other people, they were equivalent of the one percenters. They're the ones in charge. They were more government officials than they were one percenters. In this movie, it was just the one percenters. And I believe that's the problem. It isn't about the mass shootings, it's that it makes the one percenters look bad. Problem is, the one percenters own everything. They own the land, they own electricity, the power, Hollywood. You know, so when the one percenters see themselves being portrayed as the bad guys, of course they're going to shelve the movie and make it seem like, and blame it on anything else. You know, blame the mass shootings. It's never stopped Hollywood before. Oh, but it suddenly does now. See, that doesn't make any sense. So, that's what I believe is this big conspiracy that's stopping this rather nice looking film, I believe, just from the trailer, though trailers have been known to lie. What's stopping this movie from being played isn't the political climate. It's just the one percenters not liking being portrayed as the villains. That's it. That's the only option, because everything else has happened before, and it just happened. So therefore you can't say it's that. You know, you can't say it's the violence. It's like we've had John Wick, we just released Rambo, was released last week. You can't say it's the violence. You can't say it is anything else other than somebody just didn't like it and had enough pull to have it shelved. That's it. So what do you think about my theory? Comment, subscribe, you decide. Maybe that'll be my new catchphrase for a while. You decide. So as you can see, I gotta get up my room. My bed. I have it tilted up. I'm sitting on the, not on the chair, but on the hamper. So I can be in this shot a whole lot better. So, yeah, so that's the thing. Just remember, Hollywood is not free speech. It's not it's not this independent thing. It has bosses and overbosses. It has people with opinion. That's why in The Simpsons, they said they're renowned, back in the 90s, was renowned to not take corporate memos, is because, look, we're writing this thing, we know what we're doing, you know, we're just going to ignore this memo. And they were great for the first 10 years, or 8 seasons. So, yeah, it's also called having, the corporate, interference, and too many chefs in the kitchen, too many people trying to tell everyone what to do, when they all have their own different viewpoint and opinion on what to do and what is priority. We have a lot of that now, thus we're getting a lot of shitty films now, where we don't know what tone we're dealing with. We're going for, terror to joke, to terror to joke, to terror to joke, and it's like, pick one. And don't throttle back and forth so freaking fast. It doesn't really work outside of a few instances. But when you do that constantly, it just kind of ruins the film. Because they're just, whiplashing too back and forth too much. Anyway, so those were my feelings on the movie Hunt, or The Hunt. So, until next time, kids, take care, And remember, if you're going to get into Hollywood, be ready to answer to a lot of different people. Because you're not just going to have just one boss. Unless it's an independent film, then you probably have just one boss. But yeah, remember, this is a corporation. This is a conglomerate. This is a boss. You know, so just remember what you're getting yourself into, okay? Alright, until next time, my fair, faithful viewer, take care, and... Oh, and I gotta be gone in a month. I'm losing this fabulous room to the original inhabitant. So, take care.